called Back on the Horse, out October 28th. It is very aptly named because this is his first time sort of returning to music after almost a decade-long break. So I'm really excited to talk to Bob. But before we get into it with him, I want to remind you guys, this is the last day that you can enter our giveaway. And if you are new to the stream, I'll give you some details on it. Tower Records is giving away a copy of the late, great Tom Petty's Wildflowers. It is a 3 LP, 140-gram edition that contains the 1994 original Wildflowers album on 2 LPs, and then the third one contains all the rest, which are 10 songs from the Wildflowers sessions that didn't make it onto the album, 5 of which are previously unreleased. So it's a really, really cool set if you are a Tom Petty or just a music fan in general. And all you have to do in order to enter the contest is make sure you are signed up for our newsletter. Super easy. So all you do is go to towerrecords.com, buy some records while you're at it. Scroll to the bottom of the page and there should be a link to help you sign up for the newsletter. Signing up automatically enrolls you in the giveaway. And so if you're already getting the emails from us, then great news. You're already entered to win possibly this great edition. So all the details are also on our page as well. Just click the video flashing post and that should tell you everything that I just told you in case you need a reminder. Best of luck. I will be announcing the winner tomorrow. So get on it if you still haven't signed up. And yeah, let me see if Bob has joined yet. Hopefully the internet is on our side. I've turned my internet off and I've just been doing self-service. Hey, Bob.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm learning all the secrets of Instagram. This is just amazing.
You know, I had never gone live on Instagram before we started doing this show, and there is definitely a learning curve. So I appreciate you making the effort and spending some time here with me today.
Oh, it's fun. I'm so glad to be here. I mean, last night I did a live stream join, so I had like practice of actually doing this. I'm like, oh, cool. Now I know how to do it. I got to keep up with all the tech. So
it's really, really difficult. The one that I struggle with is TikTok, but that's for the teens. I'm going to leave that to them.
Yeah, I'm too old for that.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
So are you calling in from Palm Springs today?
Yeah, I live in Palm Springs. It's like 110 degrees today. It's 100 every day here. It's always 100 degrees.
It is not much cooler in Los Angeles.
You're in LA, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's about
I lived in LA for 20 years, so I remember having cool nights, and I miss being able to wear a jacket.
Yeah, great reminder for the chat to vote.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I love Palm Springs. It's one of my favorite places on the planet to visit. Also, all of the surrounding areas, Joshua Tree and Two Bunch Palms. And I am curious, what has your experience been with quarantine? How has it been out there? Because it's a pretty small city.
Yeah, it's a pretty quaint town. It's small. You know, we've been on lockdown for a while. They're slowly starting to open restaurants back up, just like LA, I think. Mm-hmm. But it's still tricky. I eat a lot of takeout. I'm a horrible cook. I can't cook, so it's just all fast food and COVID weight that I'm going to gain. But
I feel you on that. I really do. Something that I like to do to sort of warm up with our guests is talk about what you have been up to these past 6 months of lockdown, because to me, it's been sort of a never-ending battle between, should I try to be creative and productive, or am I going to watch another season of Great British Baking Show and finding
it's a little bit of both. I'm running out of stuff to watch. I mean, that's one thing. But you know, I get to write, and I'm still staying busy. I mean, busier than I thought I'd be, considering lockdown with music. We're still recording. We're doing things. I mean, we're wearing masks. Everything's very safe. It's very, I'm doing some little live feed things, which is a new experience for me, which I'm not comfortable with. I like talking to a person, so it's nice talking to you, but when you're doing a live show or you're performing on Instagram or Facebook or what have you, it's just so strange because you'll be performing and then you'll stop and you have to like read the screen. I miss that warmth of an audience.
Yes.
And someone actually being there.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's something that has been sort of a wonderful silver lining to these past 6 months is I'm seeing so many musicians start to branch out and do live streams and engage with their audience in that way. And certainly as a music fan who was missing the live concert experience so much, I know the musicians are as well. So can you tell me a little bit about how you've been doing live streams, what platform you've been using, and how it's been going for you?
Well, our label's been doing. They've been doing this fun thing where they kind of every artist on the label is kind of taking over their Instagram account for a day.
Cool.
So they'll do like stories, and at the end of the day, they'll do like 2 or 3 songs and have a little performance. So that's been fun. You know, it was my first time. I mean, like a few weeks ago, so I'd never done it, and I felt very exposed. I'm like, this is such a strange feeling from going from an audience where you can hear if someone likes it, if they don't like it, if it's just a strange feeling. I mean, I don't know if it's for everybody, but you know, we got to do what we got to do to adapt in this environment. So,
and what you just said about musicians really using a live audience in order to almost test their material out and see if they've put music out recently. That is something that really never occurred to me before I started doing these interviews, and it seems to be such an important part of the process. Since it seems like we're going to be in this for quite a bit longer.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
I got to be honest. I'm having a pessimistic week. It's not usually where I live, but I'm at least trying to prepare mentally for the event that maybe we won't get to go to concerts right away. And so I'm curious, is that something that you plan on continuing to do? Because I'm sure, and definitely speaking from my own experience, it does get easier.
Yeah, well, right now we're kind of like in the infant stages. We're talking about doing an actual concert in the desert, but having it filmed and, you know, selling streams to the filmed show with some other artists on the label. It's kind of at the end of the month. It's not, I don't have all the details on it yet, but it's, I think they're talking Rimrock Ranch, you know, Joshua Tree with like a nice background, and just have something that is not me in the living room on the piano or guitar, and have a show experience. We still won't get the audience feedback, but it's just a different level of something that is not singing into the iPhone.
Yeah. And I love that idea. I truly hope that happens because, like I said, we're all just really itching for that live experience and we'll take what we can get. And so I know that you will be met with so much support should you decide to do more of that. But I want to talk about My Mistake because it came out today. It is such a fantastic song. And by the way, I got to listen to the whole EP, the press kit, and it's fantastic. People in the chat, I'm so excited for the release of this EP on the 28th. And I can't wait to talk to you about all of the songs on it. But let's start with My Mistake. I understand that it is a re-recording of an older song that you put out.
Yeah, it was an older track that from 10 years ago. And I'd kind of forgotten about it. I didn't really, you know, it was a song that I wrote and I liked, but it just, you know, you write stuff and you keep moving on. You write something new and you write something new. And then after a while, stuff pops back up. And Kirk, who is the main guy at Blue Alon, who has changed my life, suggested that I do it with Roan, Jackie McLean, Roan Yellowthorn. Every you know, every year the label has a Christmas event. This year we won't have it, but where they fly in the artists, which is it's really cool. It's very cool. I'm going to miss it this year. I'm sad just thinking that it's not going to happen. But they fly in the artists, and you know, we all have one night of a Christmas party, and then the following day they rent out a recording studio and they let people collaborate with each other.
That's so cool.
Yes, I mean, what kind of label does that? That's really amazing. And he hooked me up with Jackie from Roan Yellowthorn, and she's amazing, and she knew the song. I'm like, she loved the song, so she's like, we did like one take. She had it down in one take. I'm like, we were literally recording for like 5 minutes. The song was like 1.5 takes. So
Wow.
what you hear on the EP is no studio trickery. It's just a live, exposed recording of two people singing.
I love that. And it's so cool to hear that you guys just kind of, it just happened. Jackie has such a gorgeous, delicate voice. And I'm really hoping that you guys continue to collaborate. Is that something that you think is going to be?
I hope so. Well, she's my BFF now. We talk all the time. She's in. We text her. Jackie, what's up? We're good friends now.
I love that. Is that the only song on this EP that is live recorded? And I'm really interested to know what the difference is to you between recording something live to tape and doing something in a studio setting.
Well, recording, you get to fix things. So, I mean, you can fix some things live, but this was not. I mean, no auto tune. You can't auto tune it when it's live. It's just it's so if there's a flub, there's a flub. But it's not polished to the point where it sparkles on its own without having trickery.
Yes,
So,
I'm a big fan of when music doesn't feel too overproduced. And so I'm a really big fan of live recordings, and it does really sometimes capture that live experience. That
well, the
really
greatest thing about it is if we actually did the song right now, live with no one around, and it would sound exactly like what you're hearing on the recording.
I love
So
it.
it's not like, sometimes you record a song and you're like, ooh, how do we get that beatbox thing? Not that we have that kind of music, but you record and you're like, I need to duplicate a whole string section. How am I going to do that without, so it's.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's so cool. What an awesome thing that your label does. And I have so many questions about how you came to work with Kent and sort of your story here. But another song that I would like to talk about is 20 Years to Life, which I love, and it is such a funny, charming song that it has such a humor about it, which I love with love songs. And I'm curious what made you want to release that one as your first single.
Well, I didn't pick it. It was to me it was a quirky little song. I looked, Kirk who and all the people at the label, they know what they're doing. I'd rather let someone else decide what is the better song, because when you write something, you think everything's great. Oh, that's the best song, or if you don't like something, sometimes the songs you don't like end up being like the most popular ones. Then you're stuck singing that the whole forever. But that's not the case with this.
Cute cherry pie.
Yeah, I have a couple of older songs that I play and I don't always enjoy, but I'm not playing them now. So, but yeah, so they pick the songs, and it's nice to have outside opinion and people who's been in the industry and I respect their opinion. So I'm like, hey, you like that song? Let's go with that one. And I like it too. It's cute. And I was worried because it's quirky. It was like, it's either too. When I was writing it, I'm like, oh, am I really going to go here? Because it was so lyrically, a courthouse of being. I mean, when I was envisioning it in my head, I was like, I'm being sent to prison, basically. It's like, so I don't know.
Well, they certainly have not steered you wrong so far. I trust their judgment as well. And having listened to the EP, it's really an interesting choice to me because the EP has a real variance of songs that are upbeat and some that are a little slower, a little more somber. And
yeah, I got the somber down.
Yeah, well,
I have somber down. I'm a king of somber.
I mean, I think it goes so well, especially against a desert setting. I love looking inward. I love music that makes you look inward. And 20 Years to Life is it's definitely one of the lighter, more upbeat songs. And so I'm really curious about how that sort of sets the tone for what people can expect from the EP. Now, I've listened to it and I love it, but can you just take a moment to describe to our viewers what they can expect to hear on the CP, which is so aptly named, by the way.
Well, I think it's a little teaser to the album. I mean, we recorded a lot of songs. I recorded with Dave Darling, and Dave and I mean, we must have done 16 songs, but they can't do all that for an album. So I think the EP is kind of a teaser to the album that's coming later after hopefully the pandemic ends and I can play. But it's they picked the songs I think a little bit each for a different reason. Kind of it shows a little bit of range in the album. There's some mellow stuff. There's songs that are upbeat like 20 years. Songs that are, I mean, they're all personal, but some are a little sad. Because music is always, like for many musicians, it's therapy for everyone who writes.
Sure.
So for me, it's just another therapy. So you're getting to hear that.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about some of the themes that we'll find? Because there's some really interesting topics that you discuss, I guess, for lack of a better word, on the EP.
Well, one of them that's coming out, well, the first one was 20 years, and then we did My Mistake, and then when the album, or the EP comes out, one was a song that I wrote on the day of my dad's funeral. So I mean, like it's like I don't want to drag people down, but for me, it was a therapy to sit and write something and put it down. And it actually took me 10 years to be able to sing it. I mean, I wrote it that day, and then by the time we recorded it, you get past the emotional point where you're actually able to perform it without breaking down through the whole song. So you get some of that. There's that, that kind of music. And I don't know. I mean, I never know what kind of genre it is and what kind of style, because it's singer-songwriter stuff that, Dave said that's very Cat Stevens-y, Nilsson-y stuff, and I like that because I'm a big fan of those guys. I mean, you get compared to Cat Stevens, so you're like, okay, I'll take it. Hey.
Yeah,
Ooh, baby, it's a wild world. I'll take that.
Absolutely. This is news to me that you are gearing up for a full-length album release, and I'm so thrilled to hear that you have songs already in the pipe.
Oh yeah, we're recording. The label, I'm telling you, we're doing like Christmas stuff. I got a whole backlog of stuff now that we're just waiting to go. I mean,
you've been busy.
yeah. I'm working with some other producers. We're really staying. They're keeping me busy. I mean, considering it's lockdown, I've been to LA back and forth a bunch, and it's just it's very strange because I know with all this bad stuff going on in the world right now, I'm having the time of my life doing music, and I'm like, I feel guilty because I'm having such a great time, and not having done it for 10 years and going back into it, it's been. I feel like I have my identity back, for my whole life. I mean, I'm 49. I don't lie about my age. I've earned my wrinkles, and I'm proud of those. I don't want it anymore though. I can stop now. Taking time off, and I kind of felt like I lost my identity. Like I got to a point where people would say, when I moved to Palm Springs, I didn't tell people I did music. I kind of started a whole new life. And when they found out I did music, they're like, "Oh, you're a musician? What?" They'd trip out because they'd see some old YouTube video of some stage performance, and then but they would say, "Well, what do you do for a living?" And I didn't know how to answer that question because I feel like my identity was gone. And then when I was approached by Kirk to join the family, because that's what the label is. I'm telling you, they're like a family. They're really good. When he approached me to join, I was really apprehensive, and I'm thinking, okay, what's the catch? What's going on? I don't know about this. Do I really want to get back emotionally involved in music? And I just learned how to not say I'm a musician, You know,
Mm.
I had to like pause for a while. And it was depressing, you know. But I mean, I still wrote, but I think I came out of that. So now I get to be myself again.
I love
Uh,
that, and I'm so thank you for sharing that with me. And I have a lot of questions about taking time off from the music industry because it's my belief that artists are artists because they are driven to that, and that is always a part of them. And I read in the press release that you didn't really stop making music as a form of therapy, but you're certainly not the first musician that I've spoken with that has taken time off of the industry aspect of it.
yeah.
And now that you have decided to make your official return, I am curious what lessons you've learned in just taking time away from the business side of it.
Well, I'm more self-aware now. Yeah, you know, when I was younger and things were happening, you know, we'd have a deal that would pop up, and you know, I always thought, oh, this is it. This is, you know, we've got this record deal. This is great. You know, now I'm just more aware of what's happening and how things happen, and I'm grateful of you know, when things happen, I think you just have to take it in and enjoy it as it's happening because it's not always going to be there. Um, we learn lots of. I know you act, so we've all done like in LA. LA can beat you up.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a good town. It's a great place, great restaurants, good people from all over the place. Um, but it can really knock you down. I mean, the Midnight Train to Georgia song was not written for I mean, it was written for a reason. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I took the Midnight Train to Palm Springs and just hid out for a while. But
That is such a difference in lifestyle to me, and that is also just given everything that is going on in our world. I frequently find myself thinking about leaving not only Los Angeles but the country altogether
oh yeah,
sometimes.
well, yeah,
And
I get
I
you.
I'm curious about that adjustment period because you know going from Los Angeles to Joshua Tree, which is I'm gonna say a bit sleepier
Yeah,
and a bit
yeah. It's laid back. It's very laid
laid
back.
back. Yeah. What was that adjustment like for you?
It was a little tough at first, but I started playing softball and doing like stuff. You know, it was a midlife crisis. I'm like, oh, I better do some sports or something, and you know, get out and meet people and do stuff. And um, you know, one thing about Palm Springs is there's a festival. Well, when there's no COVID, there's like a festival every week. We have Coachella. We have uh, Modernism Week. We have like everybody comes here. It's. I thought it was like an old folks town. It's
Mm.
a young hip town now. It's very strange. I never realized that it was going to be so hit, not trendy, but you know, I mean, back in the days, you know, it used to be the stars used to come here to get away, and we still have a lot of houses like Cary Grant's house and Frank Sinatra's house and
Elvis's as well, I think.
Elvis's
Yeah.
house. You know, it's got a lot of history. So it's kind of like LA, but a sidestep to LA.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really interesting point. I hadn't thought about the fact that it's maybe an easier transition because of its being adjacent and definitely a popular place where Angelinos can get away.
Yes,
Um,
and it's
I
close. I mean, it's a 2 hour drive
yeah.
on a good day. And I don't miss the traffic in LA, but I mean, I still go back to it. You know,
Not not a lot of traffic these days, since everybody's in their houses, but
yeah.
still.
Well, you know that when you talk about going to LAX, it's like, oh, this could be like a 4 hour drive, you know, and you're, you know, like, oh my God, you know, but here it's like, you know, no traffic, you know, you find a parking spot.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So have you thought about are you going to continue life in the desert or do you feel like you'll be coming back a lot more
No,
often?
I want to be here. I really love it here. I miss LA. I miss the food. I miss friends there. I miss people. I have great memories of there. You know, going down Tower Records on Sunset. Oh, you know, it's just that's it just it's a good place to be. I mean, you can't beat the food there. I miss that food. I love Thai food, and we don't have much Thai food out here that's as good as LA.
That is the one thing that will always keep me here, no matter how hard I dream
Yeah.
of elsewhere. The food really can't be beat. Anyways, I am really interested in hearing, speaking again about taking time off from
Yeah.
considering yourself a professional musician and coming back with such a really really cool EP and on a label that you seem really passionate about. What are you the most looking forward to about diving back in?
Well, I love to play. I would love to perform again. So we're all waiting to play again. But just getting to record and play again has been such a treat and such a thrill. And working with producers and working with musicians that I respect, and that I grew up listening to. Matt Logg plays drums on the album. He played on Alanis Morissette's album. Jagged Little Pill. Yeah, I mean it's got a Dave Darling, who produced it, put together a nice group of musicians, and he really did a good job. And I stopped listening to it for a little while because I wanted to take a break from that and listen to it like a fresh listener. So now I'm listening to it again, and the songs are new. So hopefully by the time we get to record, play, and perform, it'll be like brand new again, and I'll get to experience it for the first time like everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you will. I know that is a hope for many musical artists, and I think that I can speak for most music fans when I say we want to hear the albums that came out this year live. We want to have that experience still. Just if it happens later, then that is okay to me. And because we don't really get that opportunity now, I know that you have said that you've branched a little bit into live streaming, but something that I always really like to ask our guests is when you release your album or even when the EP comes out, is there sort of an ideal circumstance that you can imagine listeners doing or dreaming of, or if they're driving or drinking something? That's something that has had wildly different answers. So I'm
Well,
always
no,
curious.
well, while listening to it, I love music in headphones. I mean, I like music turned up too, but um, something about music and headphones to me, it just takes me away to someplace else. It's like reading a book or watching a film. And if music can make you feel something and take you somewhere else, um, that's what I can only hope for. Someone listens to it and they identify with it, they feel something from it. Um, I mean, that's the goal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the hope and dream. It's the reason I do it. I mean, we all do it for ourselves because we do want to create and um, express ourselves. But, there is no greater joy than when someone else says, hey, I really like that. And, there's no amount of payment or money that compares to someone, um, with someone, if you're singing a song and someone actually is crying, oh my God, I want to cry. I'm like, I can't believe, I'm not trying to hurt you, I swear. It's not, I'm not trying to do that. It's just, but if someone can identify to a song or a lyric or an emotion or a feeling, like I said, there's no greater reward.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Wow, I love that answer, and that actually reminds me of something an old acting coach told me, which is that we make art to tell the truths that we can't say in real life.
Yes.
And certainly with this EP, there's so many themes that are relevant to all of humanity. There's themes of loss and of love and of all of the big human stuff that we have to deal with. And so I'm going to take this moment to just say, hey, listeners, if you guys feel affected by someone's art, let them know. Don't be afraid. I know it's definitely hard to approach a musician that you really love and respect, but I have only heard that it is really appreciated when it resonates with someone.
It is. I mean, that's really, the best form of, payment in the world. I mean, to me, I would love to write something that would be around for 50 years, 100 years. That's the dream.
Yeah.
You want to make a film and you want it to be like something that's going to be a good movie that people are going to be watching, even if it's Evil Dead 2. I mean, which is one of my favorite films. You know what I'm saying? I want to see something that's going to last and hopefully have an effect. You know, the way music
Yes.
has affected me.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so
Wow, I love that. I have a couple more questions about the EP itself. I don't know that this has actually been released in the public, so let me know. But the album art is so fun to me. It's the
oh
sort of broken down, decrepit carousel in the middle of the desert. Can you tell me about how you arrived on that as your album art?
well, it's a funny story. When I started my new life here in Palm Springs, I started doing architectural photography because of the houses here. You know,
Mm,
the houses here are
yes.
amazing. So I shoot a lot of houses. Um, and when you do music, especially if you're, or any art, if you're an actor or anything, you have to learn how to be a Photoshop expert. You have to be a writer. You have to be an editor. You have to know how to do all these things, a photographer. So when I took the time off, I had all these skills that I learned from music, you know, other than writing the actual music thing itself. So I'm like, well, hey, I can do photography. So I did photography, and one of the places that I shot um, was Suzanne Summers' house, which she has a house here, and it's like 72 acres in the desert, and on her property in the way back is this broken down carousel, and that's actually the picture on the cover.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I asked her about this. So, apparently, there's this crazy story. It's been there forever, and it's, um, you know, it's. She was very sweet, by the way. Um, it's just, you know, it was to me. It had character, and it kind of showed where this whole carousel of music being a ride, and things go
Mm,
round and round. Sometimes, you know, you're up here. Sometimes you're down here, and um, it's just a ride, and that's the way I looked at the title, being back on the ride. In the '70s, back on the horse was a drug addiction, you know, and music is, or any art form is an addiction for me. You know, I get such a rush
mhm.
from it.
I
And,
love that story. It's so cool, and also just uh, the imagery alone is so cool. And there's so many places like that. I feel out in the desert that that time has sort of taken, and I'm just a big. I love apocalypse stuff, and so
yeah, well,
I love.
we're going through that now.
It's true. It's less fun when you're living it. Gary, you've been so much fun to speak with today. Thank you for taking the
Yeah, you too.
time,
Thank
and
you.
please tell me what's next for you.
Well, next we're talking about doing the show in the desert, filming a concert, and probably sending it out or selling it streams. Uh, it's kind of like I said, it's in the infant stages, but it's supposed to be happening hopefully soon with a
Amazing.
couple of other artists on the label, and then the label has a Christmas stream that they'll probably be doing with all the artists. Um, and more of this.
Yes.
I've been getting a lot of press lately, so I'm very grateful and very happy, and you know,
We love that. We love when things are generating a little heat. By the way, I read a comment that said Gary, so I said Gary out loud. I don't know why.
so
Bob, thank you so much for joining me. And I like to close out our interviews with the saying that Tower Records has, which is "No music, no life." And I would love to know what that means to you. You've already given a pretty beautiful answer about it, but
yeah.
we'll leave
Well,
at
I
it
mean,
again.
I experienced it for 10 years with no music, doing
Mm,
it professionally, so it was kind of depressing, you know.
mm,
I think if you have a calling for something, you're going to do it no matter what, even if it's in your bedroom. Um, um, I hope to I hope to keep doing it. You know,
mm,
I mean, that's the dream. You know, I'm like I said, I'm very aware of that. I'm very lucky right now. I mean,
mm.
to be my age and to have so many things kind of fall apart and get another opportunity at this stage of my life. I, I'm a kid in a candy store. I mean, I really am. It's just like I said, I got to take the good stuff when it comes, and right now it's really good, and I'm with a good group, and um, overwhelmed, and I'm hoping that my friends and family and fans love it and people buy it.
Yes.
That's the important thing. Please buy it.
Yes, I love it. And listen to it in your nice headphones. Pay attention to the lyrics. It's so the grace that you show is so beautiful, and I just want to say that to you because it's so clear that after spending time away, you really realize what's important and what is a part of you. And it's so clear that you have many, many songs left in you. So I'm glad that you are continuing.
Oh yeah, I got a lot more to come, hopefully.
Amazing. Well, Bob, stay safe and congratulations again. And we
You
look
too.
forward to the full length album and those live streams coming up.
All right. Thank you for having me. I love you guys.
All right. See
All
you
right.
later.
All right. Take care.
What an awesome guest Bob was. You guys, please check out Back on the Horse out on October 28th and the new single Wildflowers. I guarantee you, oh, not Wildflowers, I'm reading my notes. My mistake. It is such a beautiful duet and you're going to love it. I guarantee it. You can PM me if you don't like it. Before I let you guys go, I want to remind you today is your last day to enter into our giveaway where we are giving away the 3 LP set of Tom Petty's Wildflowers, the iconic album with 15 tracks on 2 LPs, and LP3 contains all the rest, 10 songs from the Wildflowers sessions that didn't make it onto the initial album, 5 of which are previously unreleased. So if you are a big Tom Petty fan, if you're a Petty head, then you're going to want to make sure you are signed up for Tower Records newsletter. Our newsletter, just go to towerrecords.com, scroll to the bottom, there's a link where you sign up. Then you get dope emails from us, and also you are automatically entered to win this awesome set. And if you are already signed up, then you don't need to do anything. I will be announcing the winner tomorrow, so you've got a little time left. Keep watching because tomorrow, let me just grab our schedule for tomorrow really quick so that I can tell you guys when to tune in. I think we've got possibly Danny tomorrow. Let's see. Oh, just tomorrow is me at 1 p.m. with Pete Krebs, also a solo artist, also making a return 20 years later, back from a break he took from music. So more really fun solo artist, writer, and musicians this week. We have